Okay, children. Can you all see the sums now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we'll just do a quick recap of what we did last time, and then we'll move ahead with today's sum. Okay. Last time we were doing sums for ungrouped data. We were doing it for what data, children?
Ungroup data.
Ungroup
Ungrouped
data.
data. We found mean, median, and mode. So today also we'll quickly go through the same, and we'll find mean, median, and mode for the data given. If you can see on the screen. Okay. So kindly copy the sum. Now, how to find mean? The simple mean is, we discussed last time, mean, which is also denoted by x bar, is what? Sigma x upon n. What does this mean? Sum of all observations.
All of
Upon
observations.
the number of all observations.
Number of
Yes. So sum of all observations divided by number of observations. Right? Now going further, all we have to simply do is add all the numbers. So 1500 plus 1750 plus 1680 plus 1820 plus 1850 plus 1750 plus 2000 plus 1725. This has to be divided by the number of observations. So we take all the details and divide by the number of observations. How many observations in all we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and
8.
8.
yes,
Sir, 8.
So divide by 8. Okay, so let's do the calculations together. So we have 1500 plus 1750 plus 1680 plus 1820 plus 1850 plus 1750 plus 2000 plus 1725. Did you get your answer as 14075?
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So 14075 divided by 8. So if you divide that by 8, your mean comes to 1759.375.
Yes, sir.
1759.375.
Right.
So mean is equal to 0.375. So you can write it as 38. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
what we just did was we calculated mean. Now let's calculate median. What is the first step you do for median?
So I think put the numbers in ascending order.
Correct. So you first arrange your data, arranging the data in ascending order. Ascending order is the smallest to the largest. Now, which is the smallest number you see in this series or in this range?
1500.
1500.
Whenever you're writing the numbers, it's always preferable that you put a line across the number with a pencil or a pen when if you're doing it in the written format, not on the online format, because then you tend to get confused less and your numbers don't get repeated. Even if they're not there, sometimes you tend to copy the same number twice. Now, which is the next number you see?
1680.
1680.
1680, followed by
1725.
1725. Then we have 17
Uh, 50.
50.
It's repeated
twice.
twice.
So you write it twice.
And 1820.
1820 and 1850.
50. and 2000.
2000.
And finally, it is 2000. Okay. 8 numbers. So that means these are even numbers. So which is your mean? Which number is your mean?
So the number in between
See
1750
now,
and 1550.
if I take this number, let's talk number wise. Okay. Let's
And
take number wise and not the actual data given. So say there are 8 numbers: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
8.
Correct.
Yes.
If you speak number wise, which is given to you here. So number wise, uh, your median will basically be the one in the center. Now, can you take the fourth number as your median?
No, sir.
No. Why? Because if you take fourth, on the left hand side you have 3, 2, 1, which is only 3 numbers, but on the right hand side you have 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay.
Yes.
Can I take only the fifth number?
No, sir.
No, again, because there is 6, 7, 8 on the right hand side, whereas on the left hand side you get 1, 2, 3, 4. So in this case, what you have to do is you take the fourth observation plus the fifth observation and divide by 2. Now, in
2.
this particular sum which we are doing, the fourth and the fifth observation both are 1750. So basically the median lies somewhere here in the middle. The reason being, on either side you have equal numbers. So your answer will be 1750
0.
plus 1750 divided by 2. Now, why am I saying, see, it's both numbers are same, so answer will come the same.
Same
But I'm
only.
telling you so that you can use this knowledge in other sums. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So we'll be doing another sum like this so we can see what it is. Now, what is the meaning of mode? What is mode?
Mm,
Mode is the frequency which is repeated the maximum number of times.
Times
Which
Time.
number is repeated maximum here?
1750.
1750.
1750.
50.
So very simple, your mode. So this was your median, what we just calculated. So median, so our answer for median is 1750, and mode also in this case is 1750. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now let's take another simple sum like this and then we'll move ahead. Okay. This is your next sum. So again, calculate mean, median, and mode.
More. Smallest.
So mean is equal to, now I'm writing just the formula, sigma x upon n,
um,
which is,
Number
Number
of
of all observation upon
yes. So sigma x upon n is the way we write it. So 80 plus 85 plus 70 plus 78. Now in the exam, you need not do this step if you don't want to. You can
Okay.
directly write the total because you are having a calculator, right?
Yes, sir.
So you need not waste your time. Now, why am I writing this is so that each one of you follow how the answers are actually coming. This entire thing divided by number
2.
of observations. Why 2, beta?
No, no, sir.
Number of observations. How many observations do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
11.
9, 10, 11. So you divide this by 11. So divide by 11. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So let's do it together. We have children. There is some noise behind someone. Please mute yourself. 80 plus 85 plus 70 plus 78 plus 82 plus 80 plus 75 plus 68 plus 72 plus 80 plus 85. You get 855. Yes, 855 divided by 11. So we get the answer as 77.7272. So that means your mean, which can also be written as x bar, is equal to 77 point. You can either write 72, but the actual way to write is 73, rounding off. Is this understood?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Now moving further, let's calculate median. First, first requirement for the median is
Arrange the data in ascending order.
correct. Arrange the data. No need to write this statement in the exam. You can directly start arranging. I am writing it so that we follow it in every lecture. Okay, let's start. Now you have to search for the lowest number. What is the lowest number?
68,
68.
68. Followed by, we have a 70
70,
plus,
72,
we have 72.
75,
The next is 75,
78,
78.
then 80 is repeated 3 times.
You don't have to write addition. 78. 80 is repeated 3 times, so you will have to write 80, 80, and 80 thrice. The number of times it is repeated, you have to write it down. Then we have 82. And finally, we have 285s. The best way to check is count the numbers. Are they 11? Yes. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 numbers. Now, when you have 11 numbers, the exact midpoint or the mid number is the sixth number. Why the sixth number is because if you observe on either side, you have 5 numbers. So remember, one important thing is when you have odd numbers, you will get directly your median value, which is your middle observation. But if you have even numbers, you'll have to take 2 values of the middle and divide them by 2. So here, which is your sixth observation? 80. So your median will be 80. Similarly, mode. Mode is the frequency repeated the maximum number of times. Now, once you do median, children, you don't have to worry at looking at the question because your numbers are all arranged. So you'll know which number is repeated maximum. Which number is repeated maximum number of times? 80. So your mode becomes 8. Sometimes, if two numbers are repeated equally, like 80 and 85 both were thrice, then you would have had 2 modes. Are we clear with this?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now what we will do is we will go to grouped data. Okay. So let's take this first question itself. This will be helpful if we solve it in Excel. So look at the first question itself. Compute the mean for the following distribution. Profit rupees per shop 0 to 100, 100 to 200, 200 to 300, 300 to 400, 400 to 500. So first write your details. Profit. Profit is given to us in rupees. This is your first column. Okay. And the second column is number of shops. So these are your data given to us. The two main things, profit and number of shops. The profit starts from 0 to 100. So do you remember doing this in classification?
Yes, sir.
So the classification is given to us and it is 400 to 500. Let's see the frequency. What is the number of shops column also known as frequency? So the frequency given to us is 10, 18, 27. 13 and 12. So the first part is known as your class. Second part is known as your
Frequency.
frequency. Is this understood? So frequency and class, which we had learned in the previous sum. Now, the next part is how to calculate mean for a grouped data. Does anyone have the formula or does anyone remember the formula which we discussed on day one?
Mm,
So for mean for grouped data, now understand the meaning of group data. Let me show you both the sums together. We are having these questions if you see in two parts. One is the data is given raw, 80, 85, 70, 78. Like what we did for tally marks previously, I'll just guide you to that. See here, this is called raw data. Can everyone see the raw data?
yes, sir.
Yes,
But the
sir.
same data is very difficult to study. So you divide it into smaller groups and this is how you get a group data. That is the difference between ungrouped and grouped. So ungrouped means the data is just given as it is. So if I want to study the marks of 1,000 students, all 1,000 students marks will be given to me. So I'll have 1,000 numbers, which is very difficult to study. But if I have to study properly, I will divide the marks as 0 to 100, 100 to 200. Then I'll have only up to 10, 1,000. So I'll have only 10 classes to study. Like here, if you observe, it's 0 to 100, 100 to 200. So I have only 5 classes to study. The formula is for mean under grouped data, mean is equal to summation fx upon n. I repeat, fx upon
And
n. Now, what does each alphabet stand for? So, f is equal to your frequency,
Frequency.
x is equal to your midpoint. Achha, does anyone remember how to calculate midpoint?
Upper limit plus lower limit upon 2.
Correct. So, it is upper limit plus lower limit,
divided by 2.
the whole thing divided by 2. N is your number of observations. What does N stand for? Number of observations. And what does the sigma sign stand for? As we discussed earlier
The
also.
sum.
Yes, sum of. Summation is sum of. Okay, in simple words, total of.
Frequency midpoint upon number of observations.
So let's come to this sum again. Now we need one more column, which is your x. Which is the next column required?
X.
X. How to find x? Upper limit plus lower limit divided by 2.
2.
So here you will be doing 0 plus 100 divided by 2. 0 plus 100. I'll just write it for you. 0 plus 100 divided by 2.
15.
Okay.
50.
So 50.
Correct. So the answer comes to 50.
50.
Now I'm going to teach you another trick. After that, don't do it the same thing for each class.
Okay, sir.
So now if you have to do now, I will just show you in the first sum and then I will teach you about the other part. So it will be 100 plus 200 divided by 2. Correct? So I get my answer as 150.
50.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Then next one would be 200 plus 300 divided by 2. Correct?
250.
Yes. Now, most important thing you have to understand when I'm explaining this is that it is 0 plus 100 and then divided by 2. Okay,
0,
not 100 divided by 2. Otherwise, some people might end up doing the second part or the later part. So you have to
0,
first add,
zero.
and then divide. You understood this?
Yes, sir.
Here also you first add and then you divide. So your answer comes to 250.
250.
Is this right?
Yes, sir.
Then you have 300 plus 400 divided by 2,
350.
350.
350. Okay. And finally, we are having 400 plus 500
450.
divided by 2. Answer comes to 450. You understood this?
Yes, sir.
Now, henceforth, we are not going to do like this. The reason being, you do the first one. I'm just going to delete this to explain why. Do you remember studying class interval? Yes,
Uh,
class interval, which is also known as height of a class,
height of
also known as length of a class, also known as
weight
width of a class. Do you remember this? Yes, children. So what is
Yes,
this?
sir.
This is basically the difference between these numbers, right? What is the difference
Yes.
between two numbers vertically? What is the difference between any two numbers vertically? Can someone tell me? Is it 100?
Yes, sir.
So whenever you get your midpoint, only find the first one and just go on adding 100 to it and you will get the other answers. Understood? So no need to keep doing upper limit plus lower limit divided by 2, upper limit plus lower limit divided by 2. That is not needed. Do it for the first class, and whatever is the class interval or the difference between any two numbers vertically, go on adding to the first midpoint and you will get the others. Now, if you look at the formula, we require not x, we require fx. Fx means f into x. So the next column we are having is fx. Now, which is the f column? That is your frequency column, is known as f. So all you have to do here for the next column is 10 multiplied by 50. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
18 multiplied by 150.
2,700.
Right. Then you do 27 multiplied by 250.
6,750.
6,750. Next is 13 multiplied by 350.
4,550.
But I'm trusting you. Huh?
Yes, sir. It is correct.
And finally, we have 12 multiplied by 400.
5,400. 5,400.
So you
Yes.
get 5,400.
400.
400.
Understood this?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
now, first thing, what is N stand for? N is the total of this column. So N is equal to the total of frequency column. 80. What is the meaning of N? How many shops? That is the question. Number of observations. Number of observations in this case is number of shops. How many shops? 80 shops. Now
80.
sigma fx is the total of this. Sigma fx is the total of your fx column. Now come on, get me the total of fx column. So your total of fx will be all you have to do is
19,900.
you have to do 500 plus 2,700 plus 6,750 plus 4,550 plus 5,400.
So 19,900.
19,900.
900.
So we got the total of summation fx. Is this understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So your mean will be now in this case 19,900 divided by 80. So you will have to do 19,900 divided by
So
80.
So it's
24.75.
248.75.
So that means your mean, which is denoted by x bar, I am always writing it so that you remember, is 248.
75.
Now in this case, you'll have to specify what. So this is in rupees. How we know it is rupees? What is the classification column?
Rupees.
Yes,
Rupees.
rupees.
So you can say the profit is rupees, mean profit is for 248.75 rupees. Mean also means average. See, another word for mean is average.
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 You have done this kind of sums when you were doing 12th standard accounts, those who are commerce students. When you did goodwill, if you remember average profit. If in case you remember average profit, you have done similar sums earlier. Same thing and the same logic was applied. Okay, let's do another sum. Right?
Yes, sir.
Let's take the next sum, which is monthly salary in rupees. So now our classification title is monthly salary. And next we have is number of workers. So see what is the classification given to us, 1400 to 1600, 1600 to 1800, and 1800 to 2000. So it's in the class interval of 200.
One.
And we go right up to 2600. We begin at 1400. Sorry, it's the first class is 1400 to 1600 children. Now let's see the frequency 12, 30, 55. 40, 35, 28. Now, the moment you get this frequency, the best thing to do is immediately do the totals, which will be your n. So n will equal to 200.
200.
Now x, how do we get x as discussed? Upper limit, or either way, lower limit plus upper limit plus lower limit divided by 2.
2.
So your answer comes to 1500. Is this right?
Yes, sir.
Do the other calculations as discussed earlier. No need to do all the midpoints by doing upper limit plus lower limit divided by 2. What is your class interval here? 200. The difference between all numbers is 200. So if your first one is 1500, second one will be 1700, 1900, 2100, 2300, and 2500. This all depends upon your class interval. Now, fx stands for f into x. So you have to do 12 multiplied by 1500. You'll get 18,000. Next is 30 multiplied by 1700, which is equal to
51,000.
51.
51,000.
51,000. Next you have 55 multiplied by 1900, which is equal to
104.
1,004.
1,04,500.
500.
Yes, sir.
Then you have 40 multiplied by 2100.
So 84,000.
84,000. Then you have 35 multiplied by 230, 2300.
80,500.
80,500.
The answer comes to 80,500. And finally, you have 28 multiplied by 2,500.
70,000, sir.
So your answer comes to 70,000. And finally, you have to take the total of that column. So basically what you have to do here is 18,000 plus 51,000 plus 1,04,500 plus 84,000 plus 80,500 plus 70,000. We get 4,08,000. Is this right?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
let's go to the sum and solve again. We have the formula with us. So now your mean will be sigma fx upon n. So our total comes to 4,08,000 divided by your n was 200.
200.
So your mean value is rupees 2040.